There we go. We are live. We are here.
We did it.
We did it. You know what, Brian?
We made it.
It helps a lot when you press the Go Live Now button because the first time we went live, that wasn't pressed. So I think that was our issue.
Practice.
All right. Well, we're here. What do we do now?
And I think as you said right before we went live, how far away are we from premium Scream Night?
Oh my gosh, we are 13 days. It's crazy.
Less than 2 weeks. That is nuts, dude. I am freaking out. I am super excited. Thank you all for joining us. I hope you're ready for some hype list drama because I'm going to be honest, Ryan, this year was pretty hard for me.
It was pretty hard. Did you just copy my list again?
I did. I mean, it's very possible.
I know you pay Leah for the list, so.
I'm not even gonna say that this is the year that we're gonna be different because that means it'll actually happen.
Yeah.
I will put it down right now. I'm putting the gauntlet down. Type it in chat to hold me accountable. Ryan and I will have a different number one.
We're gonna have a different number
guarantee
one.
it.
All right.
Yeah. So what's going on tonight,
What's
Ryan?
Brian's number one going to be then?
Don't change it. Don't change it.
You know what? I know it. I know it. So
Rob, what do you think my number one is?
Well,
all right. So, no, Rob. Oh. No, he didn't. Don't you lie. If I'm just gonna start getting an influx of those mugs now, I'm gonna have like 18.
You know what? If people can find them, apparently they're worth a lot of money. So,
how mad would you be if I resold it for profit?
I don't care. I wasn't the one.
I guess special
guest would be the one that would be mad by that one. So
Blumhouse. Okay.
Yeah, maybe it is. So Brian, actually, recent news. I don't know if anyone else has seen this. Did you see that the Dead Coconut Club is themed after Blumhouse this year?
I did see that, and I think we're gonna have to stop by.
That's happening. We just need to see when it opens because that's the whole thing. Is I'm going to be going to the Dead Coconut Club, but when what day are we going? Can we go before premium or do we have to wait till Friday? Who knows? But how do you incorporate Blumhouse properties into a bar? Don't know, but excited to find out.
Yeah, we'll see how they pull that off. I don't know. I've actually only ever gone to the Dead Coconut Club one time.
Okay,
so
it's become a regular spot for me.
Yeah, no, I don't know if anybody else has been. I'm excited to actually have time to do it this year. Not living there now. But yeah, so Ryan, what does tonight look like? What are we going to get into?
So we're just going to let everybody know at this point that we have a rundown, but we're kind of just going with the flow tonight. We're going to figure out what's going on. We're going to rank everything. We're going to rank every house we've ever been through. Buckle up. We're expecting to wrap up about 4 a.m. What, you're losing me?
Yeah.
What do you mean you're losing me?
But I can hear you on the stream, so it's just our thing.
All right, so you can hear me on the stream. That's fine. I'm still at excellent stream quality, so good for all the viewers out there. But
negative.
Yeah, no Walking Dead theme.
That's right, Matt.
So we are going to be hyping up all the lists. So we're going to be going over scare zones. We're going to be going over the Slaughter Cinema 2 houses, which that might be one of the highlights of the night, I actually think.
Yeah.
And then also we're going to be going over the houses. We're going to break that up a little bit. I figured we could do 10 through 6 and then 5 through 1 because that's what people are here for. They're here for our house rankings. Right. And you know what? I figured just to keep everybody watching for the whole episode, we're going to rank the shows at the end. So, stay tuned.
Awesome.
Well, plus,
I think the hardest thing to rank, honestly, is going to be the Slaughter Cinema 2 houses.
That is going to be the hardest to rank.
I
just kind of went with it, and then actually after we're done with our hype list, we're going to do a ranking of the hype list. So you rank the hype lists of Ryan and Brian's Excellent Halloween Horror Nights. So,
yeah. Well, and also it should be stated, anybody listening, we're going to talk about the information we have and potentially spoiling the Slaughter Cinema 2 house.
Exactly.
If you don't know the movies inside of them.
If you don't want to know, then we're going to be talking about them. So we're going to be ranking the movies that are going to be covered inside Slaughter Cinema 2.
Rob Dole is feverishly trying to rank those right now.
Okay, yeah.
I can tell you that.
All right. Well, you know what? Just go for it. And then I have a couple other discussion points, whether we want to go over them or not.
Okay.
You know, I feel like there's some hot topics. But just to let everybody know, so for the houses specifically, I wanted to introduce a new thing this season as far as, like, we're going to actually rank the houses, but we're also going to rank how hyped we are for the houses. Just because a house is your number 10, you might still be really excited for it. Or a house might be number 5, but you're not looking forward to it at all. It might be a very lame lineup for you. So I figured I would introduce that this year. So I'm going to go over the scale, which I spent a lot of time going over, really analyzing the points. And if you know me, that means that I spent about 5 minutes putting this together because I don't know. I kind of like the winging of the podcast. It's one of the most fun parts of it. It causes a lot of chaos. So I'm going to go through. So we're going to start at 0. 0, you know what? 0 means we're going to do the house. We're always going to do the house. We're never going to skip a house. But we're going to do it, but we're not excited at all. Check box, you know, just get the point, get the coaster credit on that, and then move on. 1, not very hyped. 2, unsure, cautiously pessimistic. 3, looking forward to it, cautiously optimistic. 4, pretty hyped, and then 5, hyped-tacular.
Spoiler alert, I have no zeros on my list.
You have no zeros. I have no zeros on the list. Don't worry about that. This is not the year for zeros, fortunately. But, you know, will we have all 4s? Or will we have a hyptacular this year? I don't know. And yes, I did pull that from Halo. The Killtacular voice kind of got stuck in my head earlier the week. I don't know if I was watching a YouTube video or something like that. So
that's Monstrous is a 0. Get out of here, Joel.
That is a hot take there. Maybe he's talking about Monstrous 2 out in Hollywood.
Maybe,
we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
He's talking about Monstrous 2 Hollywood.
Speaking of Brian, do you think Hollywood has a better lineup this year than Orlando?
That's quite a take. I
mean, they have the weekend and 3 weekends. Well, actually 2 weekend albums and 1 original, which I actually really appreciate that they got him to do an original.
Yeah, I do too. I think that'll be awesome. Because I don't have enough information on the originals this year, I think it's honestly
they only have
the
like
first
1
time,
or 2.
Yeah, I think it's the first time in a long time. There might be an argument that Hollywood, on paper,
I will say
has a.
I lean a little bit more towards that way, especially with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Not saying that Orlando's is bad, but
I am so jealous of the multiverse of Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
That is a huge get.
I hope Orlando, in the same era of how we're taking one of their houses this year, I hope we get that back, honestly.
Yes, that would actually be a really good get for next year. But yes, everything coming out of Hollywood looks really interesting, and I'm excited to see Monstros 2, or at least a walkthrough of it. I won't be going over there this year. Definitely can't make time for that. But yeah, definitely a conversation to have. Think about it. Maybe a good topic for our next thing. I'm determined to get over 20 this year, Brian. We got to get over 20.
Okay, we're
at 17 right now. So we definitely, I mean, if you include our review of the whole season, our premium Scream Night review and all, we might make it over the 20 hump. Maybe 25. Maybe. We'll see.
Rob, it's not too late to change your Orlando flight to Hollywood.
I mean, that is an accurate statement. But Brian, we do have only 13 days to premium Scream Night. You and I, in 13 days, will be at the event, and in 2 weeks from today, you'll be doing it for the second time. So, what are you feeling right now as far as your excitement towards like premium? I mean, we were talking before the podcast, and they're really advertising premium right now, which really makes us both feel like they do not have a lot of ticket sales for it, which actually makes us pretty excited. It is the mug.
Sorry, I have to. Yeah, Rob, if you think I'm not drinking out of this thing after that whole, it is the mug. And dude, The best. Is this the best HHN mug of all time?
It is the best HHN mug. Abby, I see you're in the chat. So what was your reaction to Brian getting the mug? As we wait for her to type.
Yeah. I will answer your first question, and I am just beyond excited. It honestly hasn't set in, especially considering we don't have everything. I had to drive to Nashville twice this week for work, and I listened to the final Universal Monsters podcast that we have. We only have, they were all uploaded, but they're not all live right now, and it's because, dude, thank you. And and you don't need to record, to Matthew's point, we don't need to record reactions when you're getting this super special, thoughtful gift.
But you know what? The content. You have to think about the YouTube shorts.
And it's our best performing video, which makes me so angry right now.
I know my son's going to be pretty upset that the mug beat him out in the YouTube algorithm.
That's right. When we go back after your son is bored.
Speaking of Brian, I have to tell you that when I was logging into this, I checked our email for the first time in a while. I won't lie. It's been a bit. And there was somebody that was messaging us from like an advertising company that was like, please tell me that you're not uploading these yourself because you have zero engagement. Like, this is the worst engagement I've ever seen. And I was a little bit proud of that.
I'm pretty. That's what we strive for here. Just kind of as a history lesson. This is what Ryan and I did before we had the podcast. And then we just were like, we should, record it for fun. But I don't know. I'm trying to get excited. I want to know more. And there is some stuff on my hype list right now that might go up. I just don't have information.
Yes.
And
they're very low information. And Brian, I don't know if you saw this week that Unmasking the Horror Tour, the 3-house one, has been going on this week. And people are saying that, which one is it? Triplets is actually kind of underrated right now as far as hyped, which, I mean, I'm not going to spoil anything here. It might be at the top of my list.
Rob definitely didn't send me photos to look at.
So I haven't seen it. I actually actively looked online for photos of these houses, and because everyone's like, "Oh man, I got spoiled." And I'm like, "All right, where are these? I don't mind being spoiled as far as
I could send them to you because Rob spoiled it. I told him, I begged him, please don't do it, Rob, and he did it. I don't know. I feel
for IP houses, I don't want to be spoiled, especially if I've experienced it before. Like, I wouldn't really want to be spoiled for Ghostbusters, maybe. I don't know. But
no, that's fair.
But when it's an original, it actually gets me more excited because I know more about that property. It's like, oh, that looks really cool. Like, honestly, I know it's a very demented scene and all, but like when the first thing I saw from La Llorona was the water scene.
You talk about.
But you see that and you're like, okay, now this looks, and then also the bed scene where she's like eating and it's like, okay, now I'm sold. I just needed to see those two things, and now I'm there. But
well, Ryan, I'm honestly tired of I just want to get into it.
If we can,
I want to get into it.
What do you want to start with? What are you feeling about starting with? I think that maybe we go ahead and do 10 through 6.
We can do 10 through 6, but I have another caveat. You remember when we technically had? Oh my God, you said you weren't going to be here. Goblins is a dark horse. I think that's a true statement, and
I definitely am kind of feeling that as well.
Bring back Penn and Teller. So you remember when we technically had 2 houses in one location and we ranked them separately as a joke? So I have a number 11 house right now. It's at the bottom of my list. And I just want to start with that, and it's Blood and Chum. I think it's just going to be the worst thing they've ever done.
You're really starting to want to grind the gears a little bit here. We will get to Blood and Chum later. Which, oh my gosh, I will tell you that when I saw the name on the list, I was like, no. And then I read about it. I was like, okay, well, we will get to that. We will get to Blood and Chum because I will have all the things to say. But Brian, if that's your number 11, then I guess I got to go with my number 10.
This is exactly what happened last time, and I can't do these jokes because then I get screwed when you do them. Okay,
do you want to go with your number 10?
I do want to go with my number 10 because I feel really bad about it. But I don't think we're going to be different here. I really don't. This one, I think we're going to be very similar. Coming in at number 10 is Major Sweets for me.
And that is the same for me as well. Now, what level of hyped are you for Major Sweets?
I wanted to say 2, but because I'm optimistic and excited and I don't care it's a 3, maybe a 2 after the podcast. But if it was in a soundstage, we beat this horse to death, it would be higher up because of the location and just some of the. I don't think the scare zone was phenomenal.
That is the thing.
And
yeah, I will say it is my number 10 as well, and it's a number 2 for me. I'm going to go ahead and drop it to 2 just because of just strictly the location.
Oh, Rob's got the 10 too.
Yep, it's strictly the location, because this is a house that whenever they announced it, and even after listening to the podcast about it, you're like, okay, this takes place in a factory. This is something I can see the sets for, and then you're like, okay, I've done the Fast and Furious house before, and they're not known. They are not known for sets.
Yeah, that's
so. Yeah, you're like, okay, so
did anybody not have this at 10? Is anybody like really excited for this? What's your level, Ryan?
My level's 2. I'm cautiously pessimistic for this house, where I'm like, I really don't think that this one's going to be the best. Now, the one thing that I will say is I forget which character it was, but like the big,
the Laffy
that one sounded kind of cool. I could see that being a
Team 10
a feature of the house, like a big
Spence,
thing. But
okay.
Hey, number 6, or is
all right?
Or is he 6 hyped level? I don't know. 6 isn't even a hype level we have, but maybe he's already there.
Hyptacular.
Yeah, even above hyptacular. We got to come up with one. So
Tyler's number 1.
Hey, you know what? But
yeah.
The thing is, with your number 10 is a lot of times you can go in and be completely surprised. Like, this is one that if I go through and if it's good at all, it'll probably jump immediately, at least to the middle,
it'll
like
go
high
up.
Middle, maybe even higher than that. We'll see.
Maybe higher. I obviously you want to go in. I want it to be better. And I still stand by that. Chucky was a good house. It just got destroyed because it was around phenomenal houses.
Yeah.
And even the Black Phone, like there's been good moments in that location. This is just not the property I wanted to see in it. And we talk about rumors and replacements. If this truly did replace what it's rumored to have replaced, then it makes a little bit more sense. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm gonna remain just.
And I agree.
And I think that's a good call.
That the smells will be really good in that one. So that is something that will be, and also just overall to the event. There's going to be a candy store there. That Major Sweets is going to.
Right.
After this year, it's a staple. It's something that is an IP for Horror Nights that will continue on.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. That is true. They are working with that space because it is newer, and they have really adjusted it. So that's a good call out. I think that's a fair take. So do you want to hit me with your number 9 then?
My number 9 is Triplets of Terror.
Wow. After, I think if you just scroll up a little bit, it was said, don't sleep on that.
Which I will say this is probably a 3 for me right now. Where, maybe before this week it was a 2, now it's a 3, mainly because it's just, we know so little about this. It's besides the fact that it's triplet murder. I mean, come on, okay. People are all right. People are turning out. I'm seeing the viewers go down. We actually had,
your takes
I know
are
my takes are getting the live stream down, but it's just that we have not much to go on with this one. And so
that's fair.
And honestly, it was a 2 earlier. It's probably a 3 now, mainly just because people are saying that you shouldn't sleep on it. But yet I haven't seen anything from it. Now, if you show me photos and I get a whole new sense of it, could completely change the order here.
Yeah, that's fair. I will wait for my opinions on it till we get to it. Ryan hates slashers, confirmed. I mean,
hey, Halloween was one of my
Halloween is his favorite houses, though. So that's. So I've switched mine around, and I feel a little bad about this one. And this might be. I hope this is not a hot take because I don't think it is. But now I'm nervous because I get to know in real time.
Yeah, you get to know in real time.
My number 9 is Quiet Place.
No. Hey.
Is it right above it? Is that, are you not far behind?
You'll have to wait. You'll have to wait and see. It's not immediately there. I will say that after listening to the podcast, this one actually jumped up some.
Yeah. There we go. See, Rob and I. Yeah. I'm Team Rob now and Spence. Okay, so look, we've been saying this. I want them to pull it off. The podcast is intriguing. The way they're going to play with sound, I do think it's going to be great. My problem with it is, I think it'll be good. I think it'll be scary. The story at If they can execute it well, exactly,
yes.
Spence, it will be incredible. But as an IP, and from the beginning that this was rumored, I was just like, I think it has the potential to be really scary. I don't like IPs. That's not new, right? IPs are very rarely in my top 5. And this and the next one are interchangeable, honestly, for me.
That's kind of me with my next one as well, where I'm like these last couple ones like really could be interchanged. But I mean, I'll get to talk more about Quiet Place when I get to it. But I mean, I will say that it is one that it's a gamble. It is something that if what they're going for pulls off, then great. It's going to be a good house. Yeah. But if it's just a basic house with aliens that jump out at you, it's not going to be. Right. It will.
It's going to get super repetitive, just like Halloween did. Okay, moving on. So
wait, am I doing my number 8 now?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Oh, I'm torn now. I think I might actually do my first flippy flop.
Where is in there? He's bailing.
No, I'm thinking about it now because I put this list together.
Dude, if we get
like a week ago.
Matt, hold on. Let's pause, Matthew. Do you think that's a possibility? Do you think Premium Night is going to pulse groups of 2? Because if that happens,
if it happens, it's the best night of horror.
If that happens, that's gonna skew our view of every house. Happy Death Day. I don't know if they could do that. I'm trying to be so reserved on my expectations for Premium Night, but the fact that they are still promoting it, it makes it feel like it's undersold.
For sure. I mean, the fact that they're doing I don't know if it's promoted, but I got a notification on my phone saying Horror Night started a live like a video, tune in now, and I was like, sweet, new announcement, and I was like, sign up for Premium Stream Night, and I'm like, already have. So
I think that's a more realistic possibility. But we were talking we're 2 weeks out, we don't know the food, we don't know any of the logistics.
But Brian, I think the play is this: you and I go in and we're gonna do one of we already have our house that we're going to first. We've already decided this because we figure it's going to be lower for that night.
Yeah, Quiet Place.
No, we're doing Ghostbusters. Yeah. And speaking of Ghostbusters Frozen Empire.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put that my number 8.
Wow. Okay.
I will say before this podcast it was my number 7, but I'm going number 8 now because I don't know.
Dang.
I will say, and that's mainly just because I thought the movie was fine. It's not something that I'm working on it. I'm working on those transitions, but we will actually
he wanted to get it out of the way because he knows it's a bad opinion.
It's not that it's a bad opinion. I'm just so I saw it at my number 7 at first, and I was like, why am I looking forward to this? I mean, you're not wrong. See, but Stay Puft, the main Marshmallow Man's from 1. So
that was almost a spit take so hard.
Oh, there you go.
Rob, that was excellent.
I had high expectations for Ghostbusters. Hey, the first Ghostbusters house was one of my top that year, and I know I'm in the minority on that one because everyone thinks that it was a bad house now. But
it was an okay house.
It was a great house.
But that's okay. It was. Mm-hmm. I had one good
run through
at the very end.
Brian.
Yeah. All right.
But so the thing is with Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, I thought the movie was okay. I'm looking forward to seeing how they can do the sets and all. It's Ghostbusters. It's fun. This is one that I'm actually, I would say,
it's an ice house. HHN kills ice houses.
This one's a 3 for me.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and say it's a 3 for me, where I'm cautiously optimistic, but I figured it's the same as Quiet Place, where it's this is one that it could either be pretty good or it could just be another Ghostbusters house. We'll see.
True.
But that's why it's my number 8.
Bad movie equals good house.
And I mean, you're not wrong.
That's fair. Believer. Any excuse for Cold Air, absolutely.
But the thing with Believer, though, is, and this is a hot take, I don't know if it necessarily was a good house, but it was a terrifying house. It was very scary.
That makes it a good house. Well, it's Horror Nights. It's not.
The thing is, I kind of rate on a different scale. There's scary, and then there's overall, Dead Man's Pier. Not a scary house, but it was just a fantastic house. So there's different ratings.
Great house
for me, where I don't because something's scary. I'm not gonna say
that's fair.
I'm not gonna say Believer was a bad house. It was definitely a good house, but I think what took it that extra notch was because of how scary it was.
Dead Man's Pier, greatest house of all time, right there. Ping pong. Thank you. Yeah, dude, those wrecked me, Matt.
I mean, Dead Man's Pier. The more I think about that house, the more it might be the best house they've ever done. It's hard because it didn't have the scare. It didn't have the scare factor. But
can we at least just get half of it at the
give us
Las Vegas permanent
Scarecrow
location
and Dead Man's Pier?
Scarecrow and Dead Man's Pier in Vegas, we're set.
Yeah.
Like, that's all you need.
I think
he hates rope lights and pumpkins.
I think that like duo, yeah, like because you get the best of both worlds there. So
Yep. All right, so
yeah, you're number 8.
I'm gonna just continue with my trend here. And I didn't say my excited level. Quiet Place was a 3 because I'm not gonna go lower than a 3 because I don't get hype. I think
when I made the list, I was like, Brian's not going any lower than
Dead Waters. Yeah, Dead Waters is, bro. If we could get Dead Waters into like Dead Man's Pier, like that would be the dream.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna stay with my IP here, and Insidious is next on my list. I know, and this one was tough, but when it comes down to it, which won't make sense for a later IP, I just, A, I've seen it, which always hurts a house, right? And B, it's not the Insidious I want. A second scale. I'm sorry, I'm not. I know. But look, if we were talking strictly. Like, now Rob and I are the same person. Rob has come to the correct side.
You've now evolved into Rob, so.
Yeah. So, now here's the thing.
What are your thoughts on the Chucky house last year, by the way?
Wait, to Rob the Chucky man?
Where would you rate that?
I loved Chucky. I don't care what anybody says. Oh, no, not Darth Maul.
You know what? I would love a Darth Maul house.
It would it would be awesome. But here's the thing. It has the potential. I'm going to go into that house so disarmed, it will probably end up in my top 4 or 5 because it's probably going to be terrifying regardless. Because let's be honest, the last 2 movies were not good. But by that logic,
yes,
the house should be pretty good.
And I will tell you that Insidious is not my next one. So it's definitely...
So this might actually be our most divisive year.
It's definitely higher up on the list. And I will say that strictly because the more I thought about
the Chucky guy,
the more I thought about it, the more I was like, you know what, this could be the scare house of the year. Like this could be the one that's like the Halloween and that they had a couple years ago where I was just like, this house is just terrifying. It doesn't matter what the story is. This house is just terrifying. Yep. We'll see, but I will. So let's see. My number 7. Are we ready?
Yep.
Oh, hype level for Insidious.
Yep.
Give me your hype level.
3. I thought I said 3.
Okay.
Yeah, 3.
You haven't hit the 4s yet.
I'm staying neutral on it.
You're staying neutral. Okay, so my number 7 is Goblin's Feast.
Oh, I don't like that, but that's...
And the thing is, and it's funny because I will say that I was a little bit torn when rating this one, because I'm getting lots of, Wicked Growth. I'm getting lots of Wicked Growth vibes. And I wasn't hyped on that one either.
I'm going to rank... it's reminding me of the second greatest house that Halloween Horror Nights has ever done. I'm going to drop it to the bottom 5.
But the thing is I still don't know... Like, I don't know what it... And I will say, after listening to the podcast, it was very heavy on story. I have no idea what's going to be in that house. Like, I still have no idea.
That's your 10? What? SpongeBob, get out.
I'm going to see the viewers go from 7 to 6 right now, and I'm going to be very sad. Every viewer counts right now, so please stick around.
When we get to hold on. So when we get to the end, everybody drop their full top 10. You know what? So we can discuss.
I will say this. I'm gonna raise Goblin Feast to a 4.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 4.
Okay. That you barely redeemed it.
Like it's lower on there as 4.
Fantasy.
And the thing is that the hyped list at scale gonna make no sense because there's gonna be some after this that are a 3. So
right, that's fine. I mean, you could have
but it's more of just it's more of just like, okay, I think it could be really good, but I'm still kind of like neutral in there. So
yeah, okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I always get messed up here. This is my number 6. And the next 2, but obviously, here's the problem with the next 2. These will probably go up if I get more information. I don't like that these are low.
Yes.
But my next one is triplets.
Okay.
And the only reason it went up is because of the behind-the-scenes tours that people are doing and the hype. And I did look at some pictures, and I do think, because Rob was talking about it, and he wasn't sure if he was excited or whatever, and I didn't say this to him, but Rob, if that house was Rob Zombie themed, if it looked exactly the same, and it was like, oh, this is either Rob Zombie, House of 1,000, like, it's so similar in terms of, like, it's slasher, it's gory, it's dark, it's messed up, like, all that is missing is the actual information and the characters. And so I think Triplets is going to surprise a lot of people, and I'm still interested in it being in a soundstage.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of wild, but I have it as a 4 because I think it has the most potential to surprise a lot of people. Because I think I agree with what it said. I think people are sleeping on it. They hear just generic, oh, HHN's doing their own slasher, cool. I think it has the potential to be a scare factor house, as well as gory and very, very uncomfortable.
And that's kind of where I am, where I know so little about this one that I'm like, okay, like I could go in and instantly be sold. I just know very little about it, so that's why it was my number 9. I think
it's too small for a soundstage. They've done tiny facades before in a soundstage.
But I will say that if I designed this year, not that I'm a Universal creative at all, I do feel like Triplets probably belonged in Fast and Furious. But
I don't disagree, but I also don't think it could, like, we don't need, I know that everybody hates a wasted space and sound stages are for grand, crazy facades, but not every single one has to be that. Think, like, Yeti was a cabin, Stranger Things was a RV, like a camper.
Well, I'm not necessarily
house,
talking about like
house. Like,
facade. I'm just saying just the opportunity.
So you think the whole house is going to be? Well, I'm thinking like Rob said, it's too small for a soundstage. Like Blood Moon, Blood Moon. I mean, talking about one of my favorite houses of all time. No. So I don't know. I also am excited to see a heavy gore influence back. I think that's something that we haven't really, got. Like Blood Moon was one of the first really uncomfortable, gory houses in a while. The girl, the candle wax, like,
it's been a bit.
They tried killing a dog one time, and everybody tried to cancel the event. So, I'm still bitter about that.
So I'm just gonna go ahead and really quickly. So my number 6 is Quiet Place.
Okay, so
and that's mainly because after the podcast, I think that this one has a lot of potential. This is one that I would say is number 3. Looking forward to it, cautiously optimistic. I think that they can put the passion that I heard in their voice when they were talking about it. I'm like, okay, you care about this one. I feel like you're gonna really try for this one. Yeah, we'll see, but
yeah, if it works, again, I compared it to, I think it'll be like Us. Us tried a new concept. It didn't really pan out for a lot of people. This could fall flat, or I do think the nature of this, though, being just quiet into jump scares, I think it's gonna work. Yeah. I don't know if they talked about everybody role playing and going in quiet and trying to play along. I think if that happens, it will absolutely be a blast.
Oh, so we have Museum at a number 6 for somebody.
I can still see the bell tower. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I will say that coming out of the Unmasking the Horror Tour, from what I've heard, Museum is the bottom out of those 3. So,
yeah.
But it doesn't have scare actors in it yet, so you never know.
And they hadn't bloodied it up yet. It wasn't Blood Day. So, I don't know. I said this, and I called this before. They are giving tours before the houses are fully done, which is silly. I don't really understand. Preview. Yeah, but they're still charging as if it's a regular tour.
It's Universal.
That's
it's like what Simpson said. It's like every ride ends in the gift shop. So, it's like it's still a theme park. So, Brian, what's your number 6?
I think it didn't. Oh no, 1, 2, 3, 4. I had triplets. Yeah, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So Museum and triplets are both. I mean, those are interchangeable. So Museum's next.
It's your number 6.
I want more information. I believe so. Okay. Let me double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's my number 6. Okay. Museum is number 6. So I wanted more information on this. This has the makings to be a house that I love.
Yeah.
I like the location. I like the idea. I wish there was a podcast for it.
Yeah.
And I know that it was like the least. Yeah. Thank you, Rob. I think I could see this ending up in my top 4 at the after premium night. So
I mean, it seems, I will talk about it later, but I'm excited for it. I think it could be cool, but yes, so that's our 6 through 10s ranking.
Yeah.
So we will
Oh, and I'm a 4 for museum.
4 for museum. Well. Okay, your first 4.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Everything up is that high.
Oh, because wow. Okay.
I think we're getting into, I'm just unbelievably excited for the houses. When I went to rank, this was where I had trouble, was the middle. I knew my bottom and I knew my top 3 immediately.
Yeah. It took me a minute to figure out mine, but I think I got it. But Brian, do you want to do Scare Zones or Slaughter Cinema next?
Let's do Scare Zones. Change it up just a minute. Okay. I want to drop. I don't mind seeing spoilers in this. Everybody, drop your Scare Zone rankings right now.
Why don't we just go ahead and do like you do your 5, I'll do my 5.
Okay. So my number 5 is Blumhouse.
Okay.
So I don't think if anybody doesn't have that in their number 5, I want to hear why. Number 4 is Demon Queens. Number 3 is Duality of Fear. Number 2, Torture Fair, and number 1, Swamp of the Undead. How could that not be number 1?
So we Brian, you and I do have 2 of the same on that one.
Okay, is it number 1 and number 5?
No, it's number 1 and number 2. So my number 5 actually is Duality of Fear.
Boo! Blum 5. That's the chat knows.
Sorry, but you know what? At the last minute, I changed this because I will say this: Table of Contents Zone is Table of Contents Zone.
Blum number 3, you got actually beat. That's crazy. And Duality number 5. Okay, all right.
So maybe. That is actually, Matthew. That is my exact lineup right there.
Wow, redemption. Yep. If that's not redemption, Matt.
So you know what? The reason that Blumhouse is my number 3 is because the thing is that it covers a lot of properties that I like. I think those characters could actually be scary in a zone that might, having the grabber from the Black Phone. He was actually pretty scary in that house. Could you him coming up to you?
But will he be scary in the streets though?
We'll see though. So I'm counting on them actually being in the streets trying to scare versus being on a stage. We don't know what that zone's going to be yet, but
that's true. Abby, it's going to be a Shrek scare zone. I'm sorry to tell you that. I'm looking through. Is anybody particularly excited? So I had Demon Queens pretty low, but I'm seeing that in the middle for some people.
Yeah, I had it at number 4 for me, mainly just because it didn't really stick out, but also it had very little information about it as well. I think that might have been one of the lower information synopsis ones.
Yeah,
Torture Fair, we're seeing stuff come out. Unfortunately, Torture Fair does kind of seem like a stage zone as of right now. But it still is a cool concept, so it's still high for me now. I will say overall, if I scare zones aren't doing much for me this year. Swamp of the Undead sounds cool, but even comparing it to other New York scare, or not New York, but was it Central Park scare zones? It would rank low in those. So scare zones, I'm not expecting much this year, especially since the parade's back. I'm really expecting very little from the scare zones.
Yeah. Okay.
So that is scare zones.
Shrek scare zone. Yeah. I mean, we all want AI helped us, with a Shrek haunted house. We'd love to see it.
Universal in general, being able to get all the ideas from us. We did give him permission. Yeah. We gave him permission.
Yeah. Just take it. So Ryan, I want to. And because of the parade, and that's where it gets tough with these. And again, last year it was just so busy, and it's just that's a hard zone to pull off. And anything where Swamp is always going to probably be my number 1. Very rarely, again, the Sweet Scare Zone way back in 2009, Acid Assault, I think, or 2010. There have been scare zones that have taken my number 1 spot back when they did kind of crazy ambitious things, but recently they're there. Yeah. But I'm ready to rank what is, we've been excited about this since day one.
I know. Since
I want to rank the Slaughter Cinema houses.
Especially since the USA Today article came out. This one, and I will say that after reading this article, this one shot. It was weird because when Slaughter Cinema got announced, it was like, oh, this is number 1. This is for sure number 1. Then they announced some of the other originals, and I was like, you know what? I'm looking forward to it, but I got to see what's in there. It dropped down a couple points just because I didn't know what was going to be in there. I was looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And then the movies got announced, and I'm like, this is going back up.
Yep.
So I guess Not sure if anybody's really heard about which houses are in there. But I'm going to just quickly read through some of the synopsis of these just so that everybody kind of knows. We got a Kringles fan here. So real quick, let me
read through the synopsis and
All right, so Mardi Gras Murders, number 1. So
that's your number 1?
No. That's the first one on the article. We're in New Orleans, and jesters are just murdering people. And the jesters are amazing because they have the jester mask, but when they take off the mask, they're like, so, also, these aren't really synopses. These are just someone talking about the houses. So, Mardi Gras Murders, it's got jesters with messed up faces. Pretty cool. Heavy Metal Hell, which has been previously announced, which this is the one that's in 3D, right? But they don't provide 3D glasses. So this is a story of a teenager playing a record backward and open the hell gate of heavy metal hell rockers that are killing people with their chainsaw guitars. Pretty sweet. I mean, I love this especially because of the backstory there. I remember hearing those like rumors growing up about people playing records backwards and summoning things and no. The horror of this house is just people wearing that terrible design shirt. So that's what that one is. There's more information here. Read the article if you want more. Killer Kringles. So Santa has a naughty list, and he's bringing all the naughty list boys and girls and human beings to Mrs. Claus because she feeds the naughty list kids to the elves. No. Night of the Undead Clowns. Clown Graveyard that now all because of BizCon, which I do like them bringing back that from Bugs. And them dumping their contaminated liquid in this graveyard, they've now become zombie clowns, which this is just awesome. This was, for a brief amount of time, my number 1. Hatchet and Chains Demon Bounty Hunters. We're going into a Western movie, and these are demon bounty hunters. One of them is actually a demon that is hunting other demons. Blood and Chum. You know, I'll say Blood and Chum for the end. Mummy Strippers Unwrapped. The story is these club owners stole some merchandise from an Egyptian museum. They stole one of the sarcophaguses and they put it in their... Which would it be sarcophagi? You can let us know, chat. And they put it in as their decor for their strip club. Well, the sarcophagus awoke and reanimated. And then Cyborgs. You're in kind of this future world where machines want to take over human life. Body parts are used to make other machines. And then lastly... I mean, come on, Blood and Chum. This is a summer camp where this very oversized shark has made its way to a lake. It is eating every kid that jumps into the lake. Jaws fans will flip for this underwater scene, and they're doing a Jaws house. This is so Brian, if you read the rest of the article, the thing is that they specifically say in here that they use Slaughter Cinema as a test bed for ideas that they're unsure will make full houses or not. This is them testing to see if a Jaws house could work. They even say here that there is possibly later on they say that there's an underwater scene as well. It's exactly what I told you, Brian, a Jaws house could be. So this immediately, this specific movie inside this house might be my most hyped thing of the entire event. So let's go ahead and rank the movies.
Oh man, one of the first. We'll rank them. We'll do top 5 or bottom 5 in the top 5. But Spence got attacked by a giant alligator puppet, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and do my 8 houses, so 4 and then 4. My bottom 4, coming in at number 8, is Mummy Strippers. And here's the thing. I remember what was the Tarantino movie that was turned into a show house that they did? That were like the vampire strippers. And
From Dusk
I can't remember. It was not
From Dusk Till Dawn. Yeah,
From Dusk Till Dawn. From Dusk Till Dawn. Yeah. It was fine. That's what it reminds me of. Don't care. And then right above that is my 2 least favorite, most overused things: clowns and zombies. I love the idea of zombie clowns. I just don't like zombies. and I don't like clowns, and it's not like I'm afraid of them. I go to haunted houses all the time. I go to local haunts. They are
I
everywhere.
Can see that.
And
we've been playing Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
And we've been playing Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and nothing will be better than Killer Clowns from HHN. So, just right, Ryan just wants to see. Great. Thanks, man. Let's see. Above that is Hatchet and Chains, Demon Bounty Hunters, or whatever. It's fine. Yeah, like I think it'll be cool. I'm just too excited. I guess for the rest. If that.
So that's your bottom
four. Yeah.
All right. So my bottom four. My number 8 is Zyborgs. It doesn't do anything for me, and also it's like robots with human body parts. Okay. Nothing that I am really all that excited for. Heavy Metal Hell.
Mm-hmm.
I know, but I also don't like the.
I'm staying silent.
I don't like the design. So ultimately, I have to take that for it. So we'll see. And the thing is, honestly, I will say this: besides Zyborgs, I'm excited to see all these. Zyborgs is the only one. It's the only one that I'm not like I could really leave. But Heavy Metal Hell, can't wait to go through. But it's not really something that I'm into. Mardi Gras Murders. I mean, cool, but have no connection to Mardi Gras. And then Hatchet and Chains, Demon Bounty Hunters, which I'm actually quite looking forward to. I think it's a very cool concept. But like you said, the other 4 just have more. And you know what? No. You did your bottom 4. I'm just going to go ahead and finish out my list. Go ahead.
Yeah. All right.
Oh,
do it.
So my number 4
finish it out.
is Mummy Strippers Unwrapped. And mainly the thing is this. This is B movies. I picture going. So Brian, have you ever been to an Alamo Draft House? And it's not just because I want to see boobs.
What is the thing?
Well, the thing is this: is that.
Sorry, I'm hearing the delay. Okay, you're back. It's
going in and out. But the thing is this: is that like part of a cheesy B movie is having like a comedy house. It's the ridiculous, over the top, and this is one of those things where I see that I'm like, that's such a ridiculous concept, but it's hilarious. And the thing is this: I also love mummies. Anything mummy Egypt related, absolutely love. Can't wait. It's part of the reason why I'm looking forward to Museum is because it's got an Egyptian thing as well. So, oh geez. All people got from this is that I want to see mummy boobs.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, the Egypt theme is actually a good call out. I mean,
I don't not like it. I like it. It's just I like it number 7.
Yeah, that's... All right, moving on. It is screaming.
But also, mummy boobs. I'm just gonna lean into it at this point. I'm just lean into it.
Yeah, at this point, you know what?
Next podcast, I'm gonna be like flipping. I'm gonna like custom make like a magazine with mummy.
That's. I mean, to be fair, like the Pettit Cellar house, we saw that call out earlier, and there was that, and in Alice Cooper, there were 2 different stripper scenes. It is something that HHN
it's
occasionally dives into.
I would be surprised how much they go into it, because I will say that
I don't think
they have leaned so far away from that aspect in the time that I've been there. Like you said,
they really have.
That was 24. So 10 years ago.
My first 5 years, it was much more. Aside from Nightmare Fuel, they put it all in Nightmare Fuel. Essentially, is
well. So that's the thing. It's like when I first started going, I originally thought, I was like, oh, this is a PG-13 event. People lean into horror. There's probably going to be more of that in there. Honestly, like when I first went, I was like, oh, I wouldn't be surprised if I saw something in the house. After going for so long, it's like, okay, they keep all of that stuff under wraps, and they don't really, cover it, or they do cover it. Man, I'm going all in tonight with that. Yeah. But I think they're going to lean way more into the comedy aspect of it than they are the hot house aspect of it.
Yeah, I think you're right, and that's what this house is for the B movie comedy stuff.
Yes, and my number 3 Killer Kringles.
Yeah.
Because the thing is that I know that undead clowns are overdone, but still love them. Still love them.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's called Night of the Undead Clowns, I'm just like, you know what? I'm here for it. This is a movie that I would gladly pay $15 at the theater to go see tomorrow. The thing is this, is Killer Kringles at one point, I texted Brian before I knew what Blood and Chum was. Before I read the synopsis, I was like, it's definitely Killer Kringles or Night of the Undead Clowns.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, well now this gets bumped down because my number one is Blood and Chum. How can I?
Right. No one's
surprised by this at all. Of course, I'm going to do this. If they sell any merch for this house and it's got Blood and Chum on it, I will be buying it.
Yeah.
Lee and I have talked about, I have a budget, and depending on how much I spend on merch, that's how much I get on food. So, like, I might not be eating for a day if they just release an entire line of Blood and Chum merch. No Anthony's Coal-Fire Pizza for me.
And what was your number 2? Did I catch your number 2?
It was Undead Clowns.
Oh. So, okay, that's right. Undead Clowns, because you like Undead Clowns. All right, so I think I did miss one, so I missed my 5. But I'm going to go through mine here. Rob, don't kill me. Number 5 is Killer Kringles.
Oof.
I know, it's a big oof. Here's the thing. We've had the holiday house. I know this is a dumb take, but like, we've had the holiday of horrors. We went through literally a Christmas haunted house last year in St. Louis. Brian hates Christmas. My birthday's on Christmas. That's why I hate it. No, it's going to be fun. I'd rather it be a full house. The one scene is fun. I like the idea. I do love Christmas haunted houses. I love the contrast. I'm just more excited for some of the other stuff because we've had a Mardi Gras, like horror zone before.
We had HR and Blood and Guts as well.
And we had HR and Blood and Guts. And so like, I've seen less Mardi Gras haunt stuff than I have Christmas. Christmas is, I've gone to, Spence, you and I have gone to Christmas haunts every year for the last like 6 years. So I've seen it. I've seen Krampus getting children. I've seen giant puppet, I think it'll be fun. I think it will just be fun, but not like great for how short it's going to be condensed into.
I am excited to finally see them do something with Santa because I know that they did Krampus before, and HR Blood and Guts didn't have Santa in, I don't believe.
I don't know I know it had killer elves, and I know that there was an Arbor Day tree in that one. But moving on, Mardi Gras, really excited for it, and they're going to be using some of the soundtracks from their actual Mardi Gras stuff, and I'm just a sucker for that. Yeah. I love that.
I'm toast looking forward to it.
Okay, so number 3 is Blood and Chum. So number 2, I am really excited about because just blowing past my number 3, Blood and Chum. Look, I think it's going to be great. I don't have the affinity for Jaws.
That's the thing. It's like, I absolutely love sharks, so like, understand.
Yeah. I had my Jaws experience this summer at the beach. Don't need another one. Number 2, I loved Saws and Steams. This reminds me of Saws and Steams, where they were harvesting body parts to run machines. Saws and Steams is one of my favorite scare zones in houses.
I was like, didn't they already do this?
They did already do this, but I'm also a huge fan of sci-fi. We don't see enough sci-fi, in my opinion, at the event done well. Yeah. It's either an IP or it's the weird Squid Games, but not Squid Games in the, so I would love to see this fleshed out into a full house. Okay. And I want a sci-fi, and I loved Saws and Steams. It was easily, when we do our giant 180 house hype list, it's up there. I really, really loved it. And then, of course, number 1 is Heavy Metal Hell. Like, what did people think?
Yep. Are you going to be wearing your orange shirt the first night you go through it?
I'm gonna go and buy it. I'm gonna buy it as soon as I get there, Ryan. That's the first thing we're doing at Premium Screen.
Just wait until the end of the season. You'll get it for $1.
Oh, how dare you? Go to Giant Alien Arm Guy. Tyler is referencing when I took him to HHN for the first time. We went through Havoc.
Oh, Havoc's and Derailed.
Havoc, yeah. No, the first one.
Okay.
Yeah, and with all the chicks with shaved heads, and this giant tube monster is the best way I could describe it. Chased us down a hallway, and it was absolutely terrifying. Chainsaw guitars, here for it all day. But yeah, so what do you guys, does anybody have a top 3 that we didn't list? And has anybody got stripper mummies number 1? Looking at you, Tyler, and Emily.
What? It might be going up higher now. Now the more you mentioned mummy boobs,
yeah. Emily loved Nightmare Fuel, so I could see her putting this at number 1. Have it cast for the win.
Brian, you know what? Let's just give the people what they want.
Top 5. Let's
Nightmare Fuel is my number 1 show.
Let's go.
I will say
Killer Kringles 1.
Actually, I guess Nightmare Fuel might be my first -1 because I can't even give it a 0.
Oh, you were a little excited for the premise.
Actually,
this time.
I was 0. I'll give it a 0.
That's it.
My first 0 of the night.
Now we're really gonna lose. Sorry if you like the show.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
We want Bill and Ted's back, and
Brian, did you see what was teased?
No.
So they did it. They did it again. They put another date out, and
so
nothing.
What would it be? What are they teasing?
I don't know. That's the thing. It's like I don't believe it's happening at this point. But like,
is it tribute? Is it just tribute store stuff? Like,
I don't know. Something Bill and Ted will be coming soon. It has to.
Yeah.
But
yeah, they've done too many teases. So with that, Ryan, let's move on to our top 5 because this is what gets me the most hyped.
Top 5. What people are here for.
Yeah, and what I want to hear from you because
in your top 5. Okay, is mine? You know what? I'm going to go ahead and start with number 5. I'm going to start with number 5 because you've actually already mentioned it. Actually, you've mentioned 2 in my top 5. My number 5 is Insidious.
Ooh.
So this house, when it was first announced, I was like, "This is bottom of the list. This is like I don't like." As far as horror movie goes, Insidious 4 and 5 might be some of my least favorite horror movies. Night Swim is up there too. Night Swim might be one of the worst horror movies I've ever seen.
Night Swim was pretty awful.
That one was egregious. I didn't even finish it. And Leah keeps on saying like, "Oh yeah, like we never finished that." And I'm like, for a reason. That was awful. But the thing is, I'm expecting this to be the scary house, and plus it's in a soundstage. It's bigger. We'll see. It's
gonna.
I can expect it to be scary.
I am missing the soundstage side of it. That's such a fair call out. And Halloween was better in a soundstage, so that's a fair take. So
it is different enough for me to look forward to it.
The original, because that's true, and that's what I'm hoping for, and that's why I do think if any house on my list has the potential to jump the most, it is definitely Insidious. I mean, that's one of my top 3 scares. I dove into the barrier. I had a bruise the next day from the lipstick face scare and the inside of that house too. So
and let's bring it back. I need to have him jump out at us again.
Yeah. So my number 5 is Frozen Empire. Okay. I just think, yes, the movie was not great. The Ghostbusters house wasn't great. Sorry, Rob. I just think when I saw the trailer and then saw the movie, this is HHN IP. Yeah. It's Stilt Monster, Ice House, scenic. I mean, it just has the potential, and it could be fun.
That's what I'm really wanting out of this house, is for it to be fun. I hope they don't lean into the scary aspect. I want a Bill Murray actor coming out saying "tall, dark, and horny" at 12 o'clock or whatever. And you know what? Yeah. I'm going to have a good time. That was the thing.
Yeah.
So I know that the original Ghostbusters house is not viewed well, but whenever I went through it, I just had a good time. People were saying the quotes from the movie that I knew, and I would quote with them. I would cheer with them. I got to see Stay Puft. That's all I really want out of Ghostbusters house. I got to see Slimer.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Well, then I'm going to go to my next one, because again, we talked about this house, and I feel the same. Yeah, dude. That was one of the most. It's a 4. It's a number 4. Ash was a blast. That's a house I would kill to have.
Oh yeah,
back.
Ash vs Evil Dead.
Oh my gosh,
I love that house.
That was arguably one of the most fun houses they've ever done.
That might be the most fun house they've ever done.
It really might be. Next to the original Chucky house, because it was literally a fun house. No, I'm just kidding. The original Chucky house was terrible. 2009. Let's not talk about it. Moving on. I am so hyped for Goblin's Feast. Okay. I think everybody is wrong on this one. I think it's going to be up there. I think it's going to be Wicked Growth level good. I don't know if it'll be. I don't know if it'll be like GOAT, but I think it will be. I think it'll be really good.
It'll be like a GOAT
it's
of the
still
season.
It'll be a GOAT of the season. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be gross. I think it's going to be scary. I think it's going to be atmospheric. And if it is more fantasy than Halloween, fine. Yeah. But like, I still think that'll be awesome. I think it's going to be such a good house.
So my number 4. This is a new one. Universal Monsters, Eternal Bloodlines.
Goblins, yeah, Matt's. Oh, okay. Not in your top 3.
Not in my top 3.
Mr. Universal Monsters Man, the new Yeti. I like that. Sorry, but yeah. So wow, not in your top 3.
So not in my top 3, mainly because it's focusing on creatures and all that I'm not super familiar. Not something that I'm really, and also my top 3 are my top 3. Like those are the ones that stuck out to me most. We've done Universal Monsters, and it's hard for me now because, after the Egypt year for what was that, Universal Monsters,
the second one,
Collide with, I mean that one was,
or third one. Sorry, because the Bride House,
Dracula and the Mummy, and then last year I was excited for it, but
wow.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Okay. This is shocking because this is the strongest. This is Universal's strongest series.
Yeah, it's very, and I'm expecting this to be a really good house. I'm excited to see all the different monsters because I feel like this might be one of the first times we get to see, like, not Gill man, but what was it, like Gill, like woman or whatever. Yeah,
woman. Yeah.
Like, so I feel like there's gonna be a lot of diversity in this house, which will be cool.
Spoiler alert! If you guys haven't listened to the podcast, it ends where I assume this house begins, is at the door of Dracula's castle. There's not been a bad Dracula house. Even Dracula Untold, which was also not a great movie. That was a good house. Dracula houses are great. No,
Dracula Untold is like one of the main reasons why you don't make a house based off of a movie that hasn't come out yet.
Well, no, that's why you didn't like it, though. That's not fair. It still was a good house. And the original Dracula house is arguably, I think it's still in my top 15 of all time.
I missed that year, and I was very upset about that.
I'm just surprised to see so many people have this so low. Because this is one of the first times it's in my top 3. It is my number 3, and I also will say it's left at number 1 for me.
I mean, you know what? I didn't take that into account, so maybe I need to raise it up a little bit. So,
some few things to note right now. By the way, Legends Collide, Match with Bride. It's going to be the best monster house. I'm with you, Dole. I think so. Up until the ride opens next year, and then that'll be the best monster house. And then we'll do the Monster Mash. It'll be great. But Ryan, I think this is actually the most different list we've ever had.
So,
and I'm pretty excited about it. And I have some different, last year was the first time I had Stranger Things. It was the first time I had IP in my top 3 or 5. And it was Stranger Things, and Frozen Empire's up there. But this is also, I usually am like, on the Universal Monster houses. I think they're great, but I'm never super hyped for them. But the last year's might be my favorite. I had unbelievable run-throughs in it. The opening scene, arguably one of the best.
I feel like is it took a lot of monsters that are underappreciated and made just.
We got the Invisible Man.
And just made a killer house.
Yeah. So I don't know. The only thing is it could be a little too actiony. I don't know. I'm hyped. It's number 3. Invisible Man was the king. Absolutely got it in the best way. So now, I mean, we're in the top 3. At this point, they're all level 5s for me. Like, I'm excited for all of these. They're all interchangeable.
I would say that Universal Monsters is a 4 for me. So.
Okay.
All right, my number 3 is Museum.
That's crazy. Does anybody have Museum that high? We don't know anything.
We don't know anything, but the thing is, I like museums. I like going to them. I
like turtles.
Also, there was that game that was on the Mac back in the day. What was it? Museum Madness or
Museum Madness
that I absolutely loved. And
whatever
maybe this is a secret Museum Madness house. I don't know. Maybe they got the IP rights to it. The click.
You know what this gives me a little bit of vibes of the house we got during the pandemic that I've always wanted to see another take on. The legendary truth monster
dark.
It was a dark time. Someone hit it in the chat, but I think there's a possibility for this to just open up. There's so much that could be in this house, and that is why. I mean, I had it pretty high. It's just under my top 5. I am hopeful.
Yes,
I know that people aren't super stoked about it out of the behind the scenes pictures, but I also take that with a grain of salt because they're not done and they're lit. They're not lit. They're not anything. So. I don't know.
Well,
I just want to find out more.
Like, imagine this: Scarecrow, take away the scarecrows.
Yeah,
and turn on the lights.
Right. Yeah.
Not
okay. It doesn't look good.
Hey, corn.
Boris Schuster. Yeah, the Boris Schuster house. That's no, you're right. It's exactly. You take all that away. It's They really did. I'm honestly surprised that it's not in the Legendary Truth lore. And I have to believe at one point it was going to be, because the fact that it does have such a strong ability to be wrapped into that universe, I just don't know why. I mean, it would have worked perfectly. I think that's a great point, honestly. And I don't know. It still feels like a in the spirit of that type of thing. So, so what is your number 2 then?
My number 2.
If it's not, I'm going to be...
I think you're going to be surprised.
I am already surprised that you haven't said one of them yet. And if we are the same on the top 2, I'm going to be shocked.
So my number 2 is Slaughter Cinema 2.
Well, then I'll just spoil it. We have the same 1 and 2. And that blows my mind. I would have put money on Slaughter Cinema being your number 1.
The thing is that over the years I've kind of realized that I love great houses, but a scare factor is always going to be my number 1. I look for houses that are scary to be there. Like, I like both, but if they're the same level, if I like a house the same amount but one's scarier than the other, I'm going to...
Oh my god, sorry, hold on. I was like, Spence, I don't know if you can see this, your candle's going crazy right now.
Oh, with like
half of the cat body has fallen off the shelf. The skeleton is... Oh my god. Okay, sorry. I was like, I smell burning. The cat is going
I'm so excited for Slaughter
now.
Cinema 2. And really these are both, I would say these are pretty much 5s. But the thing is that Monstrous I really expect to be scary.
Monstrous is going to be number 1, and I'm going to get burned by this again. I'm going as hard as I did. Yeah, they're really scary. I'm going as hard as I did for El Chupacabra, but I think this will actually be terrifying. Number 5. God, Rob has been on this the whole time. He's like, oh, they already did it in Hollywood. How can they make it better? Rob, it's going to be your number 1 by the time the event's over. I'm sorry.
I like how your wife's telling you to blow.
Yeah, no, it's fine. You know, there's a skeleton of a cat. It's a wax cat that melts into a skeleton as it burns.
But Brian, imagine the views if...
Yeah, it would be good. No, Monstrous was my number 1 the second
his house burns down. Live on chat.
Monstrous was my number 1 the second it was announced. Slaughter Cinema 2, the only reason it's not number 1 is can they do it twice?
Yeah.
It was amazing the first time. Will it be, will they capture that lightning again? So, and Monstrous is just like, I love La Llorona. I love soundstage scenic houses. I expect Monstrous to be...
My cable cat got undone again.
I expect Monstrous to be incredible.
I don't know how that keeps on happening mid-podcast.
Oh, see, now, look. It's coming for you.
I know. But yeah, Monstrous, I'm so excited for.
Sequels are hard to gauge, and I think that's a fair point. And as excited as I am for the stuff inside of that house, it just was such an amazing concept. It was new. We had never seen anything like it. But I'm also a sucker. You show me the trailers in the line outside. Like, it's just so much fun to go through. And they even said... And it isn't the OG, but they did say they're going to have a scene that alludes to it, right? And some other things. So, all right. I want to see... We've been through all the 10. Everyone put your top 10s in so I can see or catch up on something that I might have missed. Because I want to see what... I especially want to see top 5s, essentially. But, Ryan, I mean, I think I can confidently say my top 5 is going to be a great year. I have no doubt on any of those houses. They've proved with the Universal Monsters. I mean, even a bad Universal Monsters house is still pretty great.
And so, Brian, I know that. Predictions aside, do you think that this might be the last year they do Universal Monsters at Halloween Horror Nights?
I do. I think this is a farewell to Monsters.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, technically they've killed off Dracula.
Yeah, Abby's only putting Universal Monsters number 1 because it's an all-female house.
I mean. It seems like that's a little bit of a theme this year because I mean we have Demon Queens and all, so I mean, shout out to the ladies out there. I know we got one in the chat.
Yeah, that's true. The ladies. Let's get all right. Here we go. Slaughter. Hold on. I want to see the Slaughter Monsters triplets in your top 3.
Yeah.
Oh, Frozen Empire. Yeah, obviously, and number 5 Monsters. I still think you're wrong on that. Abby, is it? Wow. Okay.
Cinema's 1.
Well, Emily is correct.
Great call.
So let's ask the scary question. Is there a chance that Cinema ends up in our bottom 3 because they just totally dropped the ball? I don't think so. But
I really don't think
they're all passionate. Oh, here we go. I want to see his. Ready up. Goblin's number 1.
You know what?
I think you're onto something with that. Goblins and Museum. I see now why the Insidious was. That's a bummer. I do apologize. But Triplets. He has honestly one of the best top. That's probably the Monstros though. Ow. Ooh, I don't know.
I will say the one thing that's got me a little bit nervous about Monstros is how disappointing Chupacabra was to me. So that's the one thing that I'm a little bit nervous about.
No one is more heartbroken about Chupacabra than me.
I was disappointed too. Okay, because I really wanted to like it, and I liked the scenery in that house, and I kept on going through. I'm like, people love this house. What's going on? I'm like, what am I missing? I don't know. It's not here for me.
Yeah,
yeah. But with these monsters stick out to me a little bit more. I feel like with some of the themes of them, I kind of get a little bit more of like a Darkest Deal type of, like La Llorona type of vibes. But we'll see. I mean,
Spence, if this candle's on you, man. If this goes south, I think hard time thinking it's going to be pulled off. Well, especially the location. Major Suites, Ghostbusters number 7.
Okay.
Quiet Place. Goblins number 10. Someone kick him. Who's got admin on this? Kick that guy out of the chat.
Yeah, the Slaughter movies really, like, that was the big thing for me, was seeing the actual movies in there. That's Brian might have to leave the podcast here soon.
Hey, I'll be right back.
I like how he leaves us in suspense. He actually leaves the entire podcast to go blow out the burning candle.
All right, I'm back. It's I had to blow into the rib cage of the cat to get the candle out. It was really upsetting, honestly.
Okay.
So the candle went from 0 to 100 real quick. It was like, it's been melting. Look at it hanging off the shelf. That's nuts. Sorry, it's super cool. Didn't even let us hype the chat. Oh man. So let's get to the real question, because it's been said before. Is this a top 5 event of the last 10 years? From on paper.
So I'm going to say no.
Ooh, okay.
For me, now, I would have to really look and see, because you could go back to maybe some previous podcasts. I'm like, I don't know. To me, overall, this one
You're right,
is...
Joel.
I mean, and going to our conversation at the beginning of this podcast, is like, I think Hollywood has a stronger lineup this year.
Yeah. Well, if you love it so much, why don't you just go?
I mean, I like both, but...
you gotta be Team East. Sorry.
The thing is I don't... it's not like I'm not looking forward to it, but there's so many more, I'm unsure how this is going to work out, or this could be good, or it could be not so good. The IPs could all be busts.
Right.
Really.
That's true.
There's a good chance that any of them could just completely fall off completely. So, and
Tyler, go to the Hollywood year.
And I feel that
it's stronger.
And I feel like a lot of people are rating this year based off the strength of the originals, because the originals do sound really cool this year.
Right.
But I do feel like the IPs could go either way.
The IPs could go either way. I think that's a good call. And I agree with Rob, and I really hope it is the year of really intense scares. Yeah. That's something that has been lacking. I mean, back to the point of, Dead Man's Pier and some other houses, they were scenic and they were gorgeous and they were amazing, but they weren't actually super scary.
Yeah.
And I just want to I want the scares to be back. Even Yeti was a great house with good scares, but it was overall kind of fun.
Yeah. What, a campground or
campground.
Yeah, Terror
campground
the Yukon was really
Terror the Yukon was terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the perfect balance.
Yeah.
I think the potential's there, but all of that, to use as a argument for my question, we've had some of the best originals we've ever had by far, and if that's what's leading this year, there is a chance those 5 originals carry this really far. Add in, if the IPs are actually pulled off well, the only thing that keeps this from top 3 for me, Team Scenic over Scary, the thing that keeps this top 3 for me is just the lack of entertainment and shows.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's why whenever people ask me my favorite years, 27 is the one that sticks out to me, mainly because that was the last year they did Bill and Ted. And I'm like, I have to give every year from.
Interesting.
I have to give every year from then on a little bit of like a negative point because the shows don't love it. Maybe 28 because 28 had the Lagoon show that was really cool. The
Lagoon
one.
show, dude. 28 was incredible because
so
of that.
They still had that, but I'm like, I don't. There's a whole.
You seem weak, Rob.
There's a whole part of the event that I don't participate in, and then also the scare zones have been fairly weak the last couple of years as well. Last year was a bright spot in a dark season, but like really, in the last 6 years or so, they really haven't been all that good. But
no, they haven't. And the event's borderline gotten too big for them to ever be as good as they used to be.
And that's a popularity thing. I say 28 is still for me is the best year of houses. I think it has the best house lineup that they've ever done.
Well, and that's sorry.
And that was First Slaughter Cinema.
Yeah, and they do. They need something that's going to take up people. I mean, open Bourne, right? Open other stuff. But the other thing is, especially this year, there is no, we've said this before, there is no Last of Us. There is no Stranger Things. So the crowd's going to be even more, unfortunately, dispersed throughout, the sidewalks and stuff. Are people going to get in an original line for 60 minutes? Probably not.
No.
So I'm a little nervous. Walking around last year was the first time in a long time I did not have water show's dead, Abby. So maybe they'll do the drones. Maybe they'll bring drones out for a little bit. Quiet
Place does have like a popular fan base, but I don't know if it's the same as a haunted house fan base. Like I don't know if it brings the same crowd.
No, I think you'll get those people on the fence about going, but I don't think you're going to get the waves of people that came down just for. I mean, you remember
so many people were like, oh my gosh, Stranger Things is coming, I'm going, and then that Stay and Stream line.
Get out of here! Someone kicked this guy already. No, we talked to people who had never been to Halloween Horror Nights and had never really gone through haunted houses. They were there for Last of Us. The Express thing, the merge, that's happy. The whole Express topic is crazy. Yeah. And last year, I mean, it was, again, pretty terrible mergers. And we waited 65 minutes with an Express Pass for Last of Us, which was nuts. Yeah. And we almost got beat by people in the regular line. Yeah. So they did cap it, and we won't get back into that. But I genuinely don't know what to expect this year. I am so curious for preview night. Last of Us bombed for
100% on that one.
I think I wanted it to. I wanted to love it more. No, they don't. Nobody. Rob Dole Express trash. Rob really loves Murdy's use of fun play on words, like with the Z's, like the zombies with the Z and the chainsaw Z people, the skulls. He really likes that stuff. And they're killing me. I don't know. There it is. There's the vomit face, the delay. I'm gonna buy the orange shirt. I'm gonna buy all the merch. I love the punk rock stuff. I told I might get a chain wallet. I won't even wear it. I love.
See, for me,
I love it.
For me, it doesn't hit. The merch this year so far. I'm not a big fan of. I will say, Brian, did you see that they just dropped a Creature from the Black Lagoon button-up shirt?
No.
Yeah.
So he's confirmed in the house. Or she.
Yeah, it was at All Hallows Eve. So I did see that.
I did. Well, and Rob, I think, already bought the Mr. Sweets hat.
Oh yeah, I did see that they did some Mr. Sweets
house shirt. That house shirt is ugly. Man, Mr. Merch dude just hating on everything.
Hey, I honestly am not a fan of the merch this year. It's one of those things where I'm like, okay, I'm not going to really spend all that much on the budget on merch.
Oh, I do like that. Yeah, is that why I like it for once?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe, but hey, you know what? It's different for different people. So I'm not here to critique people's style or whatever. And also, I don't really need to be buying many more black shirts with a logo on it. So.
Yeah, they, God forbid they give you a white or an orange shirt, and you're like, no, actually, I didn't mean that.
I don't like the orange, but
what about the white shirt?
I still don't like the design. I don't like the punk design, especially since the punk design means nothing. It means
Good whole budget has to go to Scream Early. That's right.
Well, I have an annual pass, so I actually don't have to pay for Scream Early.
Wow.
So
what about Rush of Fear?
I did have to pay a lot of money for that. But
Matthew, what's your ticket? You got anybody else do it yet? Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Ryan needs to save money for diapers.
I mean, that actually, we've been very blessed. We had a diapers and wipes party, and I have a closet downstairs.
Can you tell the good people what it'll be frequent? Wow, see, that's the way to
now Frequent Fear Plus or Frequent Fear Plus with Express?
You don't need the Express if you're going with if you're going with the Frequent Fear. You don't need the Express.
With the crowds last year?
Yeah, I still feel like he had a good time.
I mean,
while we're waiting for that, can you tell the good people what amazing baby shower gift we provided?
I know. I got a little Bill and Ted's onesie. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
So, I have to say, Brian, now, I don't know if you get this reference.
Unfortunately true.
I'm not sure if you've actually seen this horror movie or not. Actually, yeah, it's a horror movie. It's 80s. Okay. But my sister and brother-in-law got me a Stephen King Rules onesie with the red and the yellow text.
Okay. Yeah, that's incredible.
So so those are going to be the ones competing for each other. But you know what? And then I might have to get Leah to design a little Ryan and Brian's Excellent Halloween Horror Nights podcast. Give him a little co-host shirt.
That would be cute.
So, thanks, Rob.
Well, we are less than 2 weeks out. Employee preview is happening. And this is the first year I don't know where people are going to go. I don't know. I genuinely don't know what the crowds are going to be like, who's going where.
Well, Brian, we had mentioned it earlier. So our plan for premium, we're going to be hitting Frozen Empire first.
Yeah,
because
the GOAT.
Well, because I think my reasoning was I don't think the diehards that go to premium are going to run to Frozen Empire first.
Yeah,
I think they're going to maybe go to some of the originals or whatever. But
yeah.
I mean, honestly, I'm feeling really any of the sound stages. Honestly, triplets also could be a good play as well. But
yeah, no, that is when the magic runs are midnight to 2 a.m., 11 to 2 a.m. Yep. A lot of people leave, and I mean, the one year I went in with the BOGO, which I miss. I went in at midnight. Oh, he finally found his stuff. $1,200 for flight hotel tickets for HHN Hollywood. Hey, that's just about a Frequent Fear Plus with Express.
Yeah, you're not wrong on that one.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of people are going to hit the sound stages first. I do think you're right. I think it's going to be a fan event. I think they're all going to go to the originals. So we'll go to Frozen Empire, and I think that's a good play. We'll see where it goes.
And also, you need like a good medium house to start off the event. I'm a firm believer in not going to your number one first. It's like your first roller coaster of the season. You kind of like don't need it to be your favorite.
Yeah, you don't need to start on Hulk, right? Hulk's the best roller coaster in the world. You don't need to start there.
El Toro,
yeah, or Fury 325, or Steel Vengeance, or Velocicoaster, Intimidator. No, it's not. It's not called that anymore.
Did they rename it?
Yeah, they renamed both of them. Oh yeah, get off topic. So the one in Carowinds is called like Thunder Striker or something, but then they still just keep calling the King's Dominion one Project 305. So takes me into Poltergeist. I did take Spence straight into Poltergeist for his first HHN house.
My first HHN house was Nightingale's. So.
Oh my God! Yeah. That I Spence had never been to HHN. I tried not to oversell it, and we went into Poltergeist, and he's like, "It's raining, and there's a full size house."
And like, to support my claim, both those houses, 28 great houses, Scary Tales and Poltergeist.
Yeah,
and Slaughter Cinema and Carnival Graveyard.
Can we go back? That
first
might
Stranger
be the
Things
GOAT year. Yeah, that how. Oh my God! Yeah, so that first house was Scarecrow. So yeah, okay. Apparently, you do just start with the best houses of all time, is what we've learned.
Yeah.
My first house was Spawning, and that was a terrible house, so I did okay on that. Dude, the Scarecrow house. I can't wait for that to be the permanent house in.
I know, yeah.
Vegas.
Well, mainly just so that
that's a great question, Rob. I would love to know any information about the.
So the rides are operational. I did see that. Because I specifically saw that.
I'm just going to go ride Bummy over and over
again. I specifically saw it, and I was like, why? Who's going to spend...
people like me, Ryan.
Who's going to spend $350 on the event and then be like...
This guy!
Except you know what?
It's gonna be marathoning Mummy over and over and over.
And maybe this is how we end the live stream. If they give me the Monster Mash.
Give us Monster Mash on Rip Ride Rocket,
you and
that's
I
what
just
we'll do.
Use our previous stream ticket to just ride Rip Rocket over and over again, listening to Monster Mash. So,
dude.
All right. Well,
I'm excited. Yeah. Everybody, all right. On a scale of 1 to 10, let's end with this. What is everyone's hype level overall for the event? I'm at an 8.5. And by the $30 fee.
I actually have my DVD of the first time I wrote it. Yes. I do have my DVD of the first time I wrote it.
But did you ever...
Hey, look, we got... we went up to 9 viewers. Look at that.
Wow, look at that. Jacob Brown's a 6, 10. Spence is a 10. See, hey, you know what? But, 8. Yeah,
but
9.
But I'll take a 6 considering he's not going to go to the event.
Yeah, right. He's not going to go. He doesn't like horror. It's fine. 8.4. How dare you? You're not even going. You're going to the Hollywood event, which has a better lineup. Yeah, no, it's a 10 for sure. 8.5 realistically, but... And then we're going to be talking about it afterwards and be like, wow, this year was quite awful. At the end of the day, going to HHN is bad experience. Exactly. Yep. That's what I agree with. It's just hard to have a bad time there. Yeah. I mean, it really is.
Well, that's the whole thing. I'm already planning our days. I'm like, all right, when are we going to go and do these things and whatever? Yeah. We're going to pregame and then go to the event. And then where do I want to go inside? It's all a thing, so...
yeah, just Scream would be great. Ryan would definitely love that. I will have a bright orange HHN shirt on. You will. So, or boo you for just walk by and just get heckled in the
Wow, okay.
That would be awesome, honestly.
Yep. Just yell out "mummy boobs" and then we'll know. We'll know.
Please don't yell that at me.
You're just like super hungover. It's 1 a.m. You're walking past a line and you just hear "mummy boobs."
Mommy, that's yours. That's not me, man. Please stop.
Yep. That and Shrek references are gonna be.
Oh my god. I don't know. Here's now the knock on wood that we're in the danger zone, like no sick, no hurricane. Yep. We're going, it's gonna happen regardless. And here's the one thing. Here's why I'm not nervous, Ryan. I'm always scared. There's Matt. Oh no. Why do you have those on your phone already? No. I'm so lost on this, but I'm terrified, and Rob, this kind of speaks to you a little bit. Even if the money thing would suck, but if something happens, I have another trip, right? Yeah. So if there is a reason that I have to miss it, there is a second chance to go.
If you missed and that's why night, then I guess Jacob's just gotta take the other ticket. So
that's right, Jacob, you're going, man. If says money,
we'll just record the whole thing. So.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Hold on. Stipulation. If one of the mummies says that too.
Using the Billy puppet.
Let it go. Here's the real. Is the Billy puppet going to be in a house this year?
He is going to be in a house this year. But what house?
You lied about last year.
But what house? What house will he be
in? I was going to say that if we bail.
We need to know. We need someone that's taken the 6 house tour.
The museum. It's got to be.
I think it's museum as well. But
museum or triplets?
What is triplets? I don't know. All I know is
we don't know.
Yeah. Well,
with the Jacob, I will pay for that experience for you. I will send you just to have that review. Oh man.
All right. Well, Ryan, I think this live stream was a success.
Yeah. I'm pretty excited. I'm actually having the first time that I don't go all in on our lists being different. They were actually 80% different or 70% different. So.
Top 2 were the same.
Grown up. Yeah, well, and I genuinely can't believe that. I was for sure cinema was going to be number 1 for you.
It was close, but you know what? I'm excited for Monstros.
I'm excited for Darth Maul and Elsa House. It's going to be a good time. Going to see Deadpool. Enjoy. All right. Have fun, Tyler. Thank you, everybody.
Well, thanks everybody for joining us on the pod. First live stream. Who knows? We might do more in the future.
Yeah. This was new and different and fun. It's all, oh God, it's all ogre now.
I mean, you know what? It is all ogre now.
It is all ogre now.
All right. Well, thanks everybody. I'm gonna go ahead.
Let's get spooky. It's time. The candle is imploded. It's the season now. So